Great.
Okay, this is Antonio Teams, Tony the Mayor podcast of Experience, Strength, and Hope. And I'm at Juneteenth at the lake, at Milford Lake. And I'm talking to some of the viewers here, the vendors here. And right now I have Crystal, your last name is Davis.
Yes.
I remember. Crystal Davis. And Crystal, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me this afternoon. It's a beautiful day here at Juneteenth at the lake in Junction City, Kansas. And so we're all set up and ready for our guests and visitors and family and friends to come and hang out and have a good time and celebrate Juneteenth. So I have my third book here today as a vendor. I'm really interested in leadership. So I thought I'd bring my book out. And I'm fortunate enough to be one of the guest speakers this afternoon. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, I was tasked with talking about Black excellence.
All right.
So I have 3 points that I'm going to talk about: leadership, entrepreneurialism, and service.
All right.
So I enjoy talking about leadership.
Third book?
It is my third book, yes.
Okay, now tell me more about this book.
Okay.
You're just talking about the entrepreneurship and leadership.
Yes. So this third book is called Bloom Where You Are Planted: Reflections on Servant Leadership. And it's really based on the last probably 11 years of research and study into leadership and really what it means to be a servant leader. A lot of people know about servant leadership from the Bible,
right.
Christian perspective or the spiritual perspective, but in the last 10 years, it's really made a boom in the corporate space and in businesses. So really, how do you inspire your team? How do you encourage others? How do you help build other people up in the workplace? So it's about building people up, but then also the culture of the organization. Because as you know, you and I know, the pandemic and COVID-19, a lot of people are simply leaving work. And it's not because just the pandemic, but people are really not finding joy or meaning at work and what they do. They feel underappreciated. They hate to go to work. I mean, how many times do people say, I just do it for a check?
Yeah.
And we're about helping people learn how to be better leaders so that your team and people like to come to work, right? Like to do what they're called to do.
I always tell people that Monday, and they don't joke with me about it, but Monday is my favorite day of the week. I tell them at work, I said, because I get to see you guys.
Yes.
Again. My I've always said I never want to be in a job where I'm not happy. I've done that.
Yes.
I had to drive to Manhattan every day into a job before that. I was just unhappy. I was miserable on the way up there and be miserable back. So it's all about a happiness and doing stuff. And you may not be making the money you want to make yet, but you're happy and you like what you're doing.
And that's really so important, because in the book we talk about this too. And there's a lot of people now who understand what servant leadership is, because really it's about empowering others to be the best they can be. And in so doing, right, you are blessed as well, because some people have this kind of thought and attitude as, I'm not going to give back, I'm not going to help no one else. And that's really where we argue that's the wrong mindset, the wrong consciousness to have, because if you're leaders, and I want to say to Mr. Mayor is that the mayor, I guess I should say that, the mayor, is that when I talk about leadership in this book, it's not just like the CEOs or the higher ups in the corporation. When we talk about leadership, it's all across the organization, whether you're the janitor, whether you're the CEO or your middle management, right? Everyone in our book, we talk about are leaders and can be leaders. Some are maybe born with that talent or that skill in terms of, how to build relationships with people, or, how to talk to others. But there are parts of it you can learn. I mean, if you have the serious intention to do right by people, to lead people in a better way. And we're talking about the workplace, but this happens at home too. Right. I mean, it's most important at home, right?
I mean, I have 4 daughters that I raised,
Yes.
And all of them, you may not know it then, but they pick up something from you.
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to shift gears just a little bit right quick, and let's talk about the NAACP.
Yes.
I told you I was my younger years in Chicago.
Yes.
Debbie Turner was my youth leader in the NAACP.
Yes.
And I've traveled all over the United States, from Chicago. And this is the thing that kind of kept me out of trouble.
Yes.
But I learned so much about being black person.
Yes.
And what black people do besides what I saw in my own neighborhood.
Yes. That's really important, and thank you. I know we had a little bit of discussion about that. And, for us, of course, in Junction City, we have a small chapter. And just recently, I would say the last 2 or 3 months, there has been a resurgence, I guess, of African-American community members in Junction City to really get our chapter back in compliance. There are some rules, with the NAACP at the national level. So, we have been recruiting, Mayor, like in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think we've probably recruited close to 42 people. Okay. And that's important for us in Junction City, as well as other places across the country. But right now, we really have some things that we're interested in fighting at the school district, in terms of our students, in terms of hiring teachers of color. So, yes.
One thing that I want to say about that, I worked in the school district before I started working for Pioneer. I worked in the school district.
Yes.
And I used to get upset when everybody's talking, the school board and all that. All of this, Junction City is such a diverse community and how much they have to offer the students. But when they go in the classroom, they didn't see anyone that looked like them.
Right.
Very sad. I remember Mr. Baptiste and Miss Ballard, when they were there.
Yes.
But after they left.
Yes. And, we've been meeting with them here recently because, as you may know, and, it was in the paper and stuff, that they pretty much walked our African-American principal, Mary A. Jackson Tart, the high school principal, out of the building. And when parents like me, other people in the community, regular citizens were calling and asking questions, we couldn't get any answers. And so we kind of band together. We talked to Mr. Jackie Lee McDonald, who is our president, of the NAACP Junction City branch. And so now we've attended 3 board meetings. And so I believe they're taking us serious now. We've showed up. There's been times at the board meetings where the public's not allowed to speak. And that was fine because our goal was to let them know that we're watching, right? We understand what's going on. And we're going to fight that. Because it's important for us, for our kids, and for students, all students at USD 475, but specifically our African American students in the district. So we've had 3 meetings with them. We continue to meet, once a month, and we just go down their strategic plan. It's really interesting how companies and organizations will put together a plan, right? 3 to 5 year strategic plan. And so then that's your guide. That's your model for how you're going to achieve goals or benchmarks. And we asked them about 2 or 3 of them specifically, which was retention and recruitment of certified teachers. And I just learned this, which I think is important because you can have teachers and hire teachers, but at the level that they are certified, I think we have less than 1% of African American teachers that are certified. And so that's important for students in the classroom. And then also, their diversity. Now, what we've really been pushing for, and, we're going to continue to push, is districts around us all have a diversity, equity, and inclusion person, coordinator, whatever title you want to give them. And we don't have one. And so we've talked to them about that many times. We looked at schools in Topeka and Lawrence. So when we go, we've done our research. We're talking about what we've researched and come across. And in Lawrence, for example, they have a DEI person in every building. And they have a DEI person, at the administrative level. What that says to me and to us, who are doing the work in NAACP is that's intentional. You have to be intentional about the diversity, the equity, and inclusion, or it'll never happen, right? It'll just go by the wayside. So our goal with NAACP is to stay in front of them, to let them know that we think these issues are important, and we understand that you all put them in your strategic plan.
Right.
So we want to help you honor that, right? And what can we do? And we're not there just to, argue or fight, but we have a lot of skill set in this black community. Yes. And there's people who have stepped forward and said that they want to help, and they will help. So right now we're just recruiting all of those people. And as you know, you've been a part of NAACP. Getting us mobilized is the work of it. And we're happy to do that, to get us mobilized.
All right, well, I thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
I appreciate being able to talk to you, and we're going to be talking more. How can someone that either wants your book or talk to you, how do they get in touch with you?
I would look forward to it. Hey, we could do a weekly thing with this.
Now, how do you have an email? If
Yeah, so
wants to get in
my
touch with
social media, at Facebook is Dr. Crystal J. Davis, and my company is CJD Consulting Solutions, and that's my Facebook, and then Crystal Davis 7822 on Instagram.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be talking.
Okay, we'll
weekly
be talking. That would be great. Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you.
enjoy the day.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, this is Antonio T. I'm Tony the Mayor, and I'm at Juneteenth at Milford Lake, Juneteenth by the lake. And today is Saturday, and we're celebrating out here, and we have different vendors, from food to fashion to hair. And speaking of hair, I have Caress with me, Touched by Caress.
Touched by Caress.
And how long have you been in business?
A year
I know you've
and
been
a
doing
half.
hair a while.
I've been doing hair for 14 years, 7, 8 years professionally.
Okay.
But I knew at 9 I was going to do hair. How far I was going to go, I didn't know.
That's kind of how my wife was. She always wanted to do hair. Even though she works another job, she still does hair. And then she just loved it. You know?
Can't leave the passion alone.
Yeah, can't leave it. When she closed her shop, she could not. I said, well, she's about to move on, but she just couldn't leave the people alone and did what she loved doing. She really loved doing it. You got to have a passion for it.
You absolutely have to have a passion. And it's not only about hair, it's about the people, the customer service. That's what they love too.
Mm-hmm.
If you put out the customer service, they're definitely gonna come. The work speaks for itself, but sometimes they want the customer service.
And I've heard good things about your customer service and about you, and recommended some people to see you too. Now, going back in your history, since you said 9, who or what inspired you to want to become a cosmetologist?
So whenever I get ready to really share my testimony, so at 9, I'm gonna just keep it short. My mom had went to prison, and it was one of those things where I had long hair, thick long hair, and nobody wanted to get up and do my hair in the morning. So it was one of those things where I had to take charge to do my hair at 9 years old. So that was one of those things where if nobody gonna do it, I gotta do it myself, because I ain't going to school looking a mess. So
your hair got to be looking good.
yeah, so it was one of those things where I just wanted to do it on my own, and then just doing it over time. I get asked, you did that? You don't, Miss Ballard at Jersey City High School was keeping me at school to do hair when I was in high school.
Oh, okay. Now tell me this, but since you're a business owner now, entrepreneur, you have your own business, how much different is that? For you are responsible for everything. Tell me about that.
So it's a beautiful thing. I'm glad I made the decision to open up my own salon and just push forward to my dreams. I always saw the vision. I just was like, it was big, but I knew God didn't bring me, where I was to turn me down on the bigger picture. So granted, I am from Junction City, so having my own shop come with a whole nother wave of clientele. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm overwhelmed, but it's a good thing. So, and I do have people in my salon, so it's growing. It's growing.
I see so many young people who, I don't know if you remember when I worked in the high school for a short time. I've been around here forever. But a lot of young people that are starting their own business, whether it's restaurant, catering, cosmetology, a lot of things. People are really doing it now, and I'm really proud of you young people, because you got to do, nobody's going to give you anything, and so you got to be able to go out there and hustle legally, and get it yourself, and there's so many ways to do it. I remember years ago I was in a class with one of the gym teachers, Coach Zimmerman, and I remember him stopping the class once and telling the kids, they were acting up, all of you may not go to college, but get you a trade. He said, you're acting up here, find you a trade. You may not be college material, but you can go to a trade school, or you can learn to go to a 2-year college or do something, but get out there and get it.
Absolutely. I tell my kids, this is like one of the biggest things I put on my kids. And, I have one about to graduate next year. I tell them, I ain't telling you to go to college, but I ain't telling you to go get a trade. I ain't telling you not to go get a trade.
Right.
Because, when I graduated high school, everybody was big on going to college and, getting these 4-year, 6-year degrees. But when I go to Walmart, you checking me out. So it's like, you know, I feel like you can make a lot of money with a trade,
Okay.
you know.
All right.
But you got to do something that you love to do.
There
It has
you
to be
go.
something that you love to do.
Now, my current job I've been doing for 17 years, and that's because I love doing it. I always say I don't want to have to work a business or have a job that I hate getting. I did that before. When I worked in Manhattan, I hate getting up in the morning driving. I hate being there and I hate coming home, you know, just leaving I want to be happy to be doing the things that I'm doing and stuff. So, I mean, I appreciate that. And I know you're happy, you know.
I am happy. I never complain. You know, I work from sun up to sundown, and I never, at a job that I used to hate, I used to look at my watch all the time. Like, is it 5? But now I look up, I'll be like, dang, it's already 8 o'clock. Like, I need to get out of here. But the time just go by. I absolutely love it. You know, like I said, I'm already a year and a half in. I'm on my 2-year mark, and I never saw myself, like, I never saw myself running a biz. Like, I saw myself working for myself, but not a business, you know. So I have a business, and it's beautiful, and I love it. So I wouldn't want to do nothing else.
Tell everyone how to get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with me by coming down to my shop, Show Your Face, 910 Grand Avenue, or you could reach out to me on Touch by Caress on Facebook, and Instagram, Touch by Caress _2. View all my work, and ask me any questions. Just message me. Stop in, show your face. That's support to me.
All right. And we're going to continue to support you. We want to support the businesses of Junction City. You know, I'm here. I'm going to be here. So, you know, I love Junction City. I mean, I love when I go out of town and visit other cities, but I like coming back here from Chicago in peace and being able to leave my car unlocked or, you know, the little things I like. Knowing everyone when I go in Walmart or Dillon's or whatever. So
leave your car running.
Yeah. So I appreciate you and I thank you and God continue to bless you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Amen. I think that's dope.
Okay, this is Tony DeMere from Experience, Strength, and Hope podcast. I'm out of Juneteenth at Milford, Juneteenth at the lake at Milford, in Milford, Kansas, or at Milford Lake. And I'm here, we have different vendors out here, and so right now I'm talking to the Geary County Democrat chairperson, right? All right. And her name is Kim. Tell us a little bit about what's going on and what you guys are doing here.
Well, we're out here to get people registered to vote. And more importantly, we're out here to remind people that they need to vote in the August primary because there is a constitutional amendment on our ballot that will basically eliminate reproductive choice for all women.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I heard, I was down in the other park last week for it, and there was a young lady out going around. One of them was running for Secretary of State, but there was another lady that was really there just to talk about that, about how important it is to vote in August. And why is that? Because people sometimes just look over the primaries.
Well, you know, for Democrats in particular, it's not very often that we have candidates to vote for in the primary because we usually have one candidate who's running for an office. And unfortunately, we have no candidates who are running for some of our representatives for Junction City. So that Republican candidate is basically going to walk into office.
That's true. Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question here because I'm 59. I've been around a little bit of time, but had you ever thought in your time that you would be facing this issue again?
No. I thought that this was pretty much a done deal. A couple weeks ago when they announced that there was a possible chance that Roe versus Wade would be overturned, I think that really shocked a lot of us, and we realized that we needed to really get out and get the message that, especially with this constitutional amendment on the ballot, that we needed to be able to protect Kansas women and give them the right to choose.
I'm so glad you guys are doing that because when it came up again, I remember looking at the news, I said, this can't be. I mean, what is really going on with our nation and what is going on with politics that this is even coming back, you know? You know, I feel like women have progressed so far. Why try to take something back where they can make a choice of what they want to do?
This, I think, has been a long game for, and I don't want to blame it just on the Republicans, because there are a lot of Republicans who do also feel that women should have the right to choose. But conservatives, it's been a long game for them. They've been doing this for a very long time, and they've been having conservative people run for offices that you wouldn't really think too much about, like school boards and things like that. And so I think a lot of people have just kind of been lulled into a sense of apathy, really.
Okay.
Nothing I can do. I can't tell you the number of times when I've talked to people to get them to register, they're like, why? My vote doesn't count.
I've heard that before, too. Yeah. I have grandchildren. My children, they already registered to vote, but I remember when the first thing my grandson wanted to do when he turned 18 is vote. He's the police officer in the city now, but I remember he wanted to register to vote. And when is the next election? And so it's very important. I voted 18 years old in basic training, and so it is, the vote is important. Every vote is important. Did you want to say anything else before, or how they reach you guys, and how you get in touch with you?
Well, we do have a Facebook page, and it's Geary County Democrats. And it can be, our Facebook page can be found that way, and they can contact us that way.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, and I appreciate it. And I know you guys, this is not just a local thing. I know you guys probably visit the state and everything, the capital, are going all over. And you're not the only ones. And I hope and I pray that this doesn't happen.
Yes, we need to get out and vote, and hopefully everybody does vote, because if they don't, that's a yes vote.
Yeah, that is. All right, thank you. I appreciate it, and we'll be hearing more from you.
All righty, thank you.
Okay, this is Tony the Mayor from Experience, Strength, and Hope podcast. I'm out at Juneteenth at Milford, Juneteenth at the Lake at Milford, in Milford, Kansas, or at Milford Lake. And I'm here, we have different vendors out here, and so right now I'm talking to the Geary County Democrat chairperson, right? All right. And her name is Kim. Tell us a little bit about what's going on and what you guys are doing here.
Well, we're out here to get people registered to vote. And more importantly, we're out here to remind people that they need to vote in the August primary because there is a constitutional amendment on our ballot that will basically eliminate reproductive choice for all women.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I heard, I was down in the other park last week for it, and there was a young lady out going around. One of them was running for Secretary of State. There was another lady that was really there just to talk about that, about how important it is to vote in August. And why is that? Because people sometimes just look over the primaries.
Well, for Democrats in particular, it's not very often that we have candidates to vote for in the primary because we usually have one candidate who's running for an office. And unfortunately, we have no candidates who are running for some of our representatives for Junction City. So that Republican candidate is basically going to walk into office.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question here, because I'm 59. I've been around a little bit of time, but had you ever thought in your time that you would be facing this issue again?
No. I thought that this was pretty much a done deal. A couple weeks ago when they announced that there was a possible chance that Roe versus Wade would be overturned, I think that really shocked a lot of us, and we realized that we needed to really get out and get the message that, especially with this constitutional amendment on the ballot, that we needed to be able to protect Kansas women and give them the right to choose.
I'm so glad you guys are doing that, because when it came up again, I remember looking at the news, I said, this can't be. I mean, what is really going on with our nation, and what is going on with politics that this is even coming back? I feel like women have progressed so far. Why try to take something back where they can make a choice of what they want to do?
This, I think, has been a long game for, and I don't want to blame it just on the Republicans, because there are a lot of Republicans who do also feel that women should have the right to choose. But conservatives, it's been a long game for them. They've been doing this for a very long time, and they've been having conservative people run for offices that you wouldn't really think too much about, like school boards and things like that. And so I think a lot of people have just kind of been lulled into a sense of apathy, really.
Okay.
Nothing I can do. I can't tell you the number of times when I've talked to people to get them to register, they're like, why? My vote doesn't count.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that before,
Yeah.
too. Yeah. I have grandchildren. My children are older. They already registered to vote, but I remember the first thing my grandson wanted to do when he turned 18 is vote. He's a police officer in the city now, but I remember he wanted to register to vote. And when is the next election? When is the next election? You know, and so it's very important. You know, I voted 18 years old in basic training. You know, and so it is. The vote is important. Every vote is important. Did you want to say anything else before, or how they reach you guys, how they get in touch with you?
Well, we do have a Facebook page, and it's Geary County Democrats.
Okay.
And it can be, our Facebook page can be found that way, and they can contact us that way.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, and I appreciate it. And I know you guys, this is not just a local thing. I know you guys probably visit the state and everything, capital, are going all over. And you're not the only ones, and I hope and I pray that this doesn't happen.
Yes, we need to get out and vote, and hopefully everybody does vote, because if they don't, that's a yes vote.
Yeah, that is. All right, thank you. I appreciate it,
Thank
and we'll
you.
be hearing more from you.
All righty, thank you.
All right, this is Tony the Mayor podcast of Experience, Strength, and Hope, and we're at Juneteenth at the lake at Milford Lake in Junction City, or Milford, Kansas, all together. We one big metroplex. So today, I'll talk to some of the vendors out here, and today we have Di Hendricks, right? I said it right. Di is from Pawnee Mental Health Services in Junction City, Manhattan. I can name, 10 counties we have.
That's right.
10. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Pawnee Mental Health.
Pawnee Mental Health is a community mental health center for the 10 counties that we serve. And what makes us different from other mental health agencies is that we provide services, first of all, to anybody regardless of their ability to pay. We provide services to people whether they're a client of ours or not, and we are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year through our crisis stabilization unit and through the crisis line that we offer.
Okay. That crisis stabilization unit has really taken off. It's really is a need for the city. As so is the community mental health center. Now, one thing that I'm glad of is that one thing that, see, we out here in the park, so anything can happen.
Never know who's going to show up, right?
Even made me almost forget what I wanted to say. Oh, one thing that I was watching a program on CBS this morning the other day, and they was talking about the stigma of mental health, and they saying how a lot of that is going away now. People are more open to accept the fact that they may have a mental illness, or may have a behavior problem, or may have PTSD or anything like that. They say people, it's becoming, yep. You can sit down. I can cut this out. Okay, so what do you feel about that? It's really become, people are more accepting to mental illness.
Yes,
now.
I really believe that that's the case. That people are more finally recognizing that mental illness is no different than physical illness. That people don't wish this, they don't create it. It's just something that happens to them, and they have options and opportunities to help themselves. But I really, it used to be that, oh no, you never talked about it, and I think that this is something that is changing quickly.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Now, tell me, where does someone call to get in touch with Pawnee Mental Health?
So you can call any of our 10 offices, and what our main line in Manhattan is 785-587-4300, and just any office that you call, we will we'll direct you to where you need to be.
That's great. And the website is pawnee.org, right? And you can reach them that way. I thank you, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Okay, we appreciate you.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm Tony, the mayor from Experience, Strength, and Hope podcast, and I'm at Milford Lake for Juneteenth at Juneteenth at Milford Lake, and I have a few vendors that have been over to talk to me, and now I have another vendor that's going to talk to me, and she's going to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her business.
Hey you guys, it's a beautiful day. Happy Juneteenth. My name is Nathania, and I am the owner and creator of Winks by Donnie. Winks by Donnie is a luxury, affordable, quality mink strip lash collection, and our mission is to attach and to enhance to our customer and or consumer's definition of beauty. We combat that by our 5 different lash collections. So we are a strip lash collection. We have 5 different collections. First, our natural collection, our classic collection, our dramatic collection, and then our magnetic and our colored collection. So those different collections stem in different lash lengths, and then of course with different convenience. So the ladies that don't necessarily know how to place lashes on with the adhesive, we have a magnetic liner, and then those that want a pop of color, we have that vibrant collection for you.
What's the dramatic?
So dramatic are those big, bold lashes. So those 25 millimeter lashes, if you want the spotlight on you, those are definitely the lashes for you. Okay, listen, you definitely have to wear the lash because the lash can wear you. So you have to have like a different type of confidence, a different type of aura around you if you step into the dramatic.
All right, so how long have you been doing this?
So Winks by Donnie became a thought in August of 2019, and we officially launched to the world in February of 2021. So almost 15 months.
All right. So as an entrepreneur, what do you think are some of the harder things you face?
They are over there turning up.
Yeah, they are.
But I would say the biggest thing about entrepreneurship, especially with a business like selling a product, you are your driving force. So whatever you place into your business is what you are going to get out. If you don't feel like doing anything for your business, then more than likely what you're going to receive is that I don't feel anything going on with my business, So that motivation, and especially with the startup phase, I've only been in this thing for 15 months. I'm the social media manager. I'm customer service. I'm packaging orders. So I'm everything, right?
Yeah.
And then some of us don't necessarily have the luxury to delegate or outsource. So we're trying to, do all those things and also stay encouraged with doing our business.
That's what I mean. That's probably the trend that I hear everybody keeps saying is you got to love what you're doing. Especially if this is what you're doing. This is birthed out of you. You have to love what you're doing. You can't get started and stop and say, well, maybe I don't want to do it or whatever, but you got to have a passion for it and everything. And it looks like you have a passion for it. I've seen you've been out here all day. You've done a few lashes out here too, haven't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So that's a service that we provide to our customers, especially doing our outside vendor events. It's just everything about Winks by Donnie is an experience. When you come up to our vendor table, we talk to you and tell you about the product. When you go to our website, it's definitely the feels that you will receive when you are looking at that particular product from the pictures. When you receive your package in the mail, it's an experience like opening up a Christmas present. So everything that is invested in Winks by Donnie has been something that, look, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning or as early as 12 o'clock in the morning, this is something that I can change, or this is something that I can alter to make my business better.
Okay. So tell me, how can they get in touch with you? Social media or email? How do they get in touch with you?
So Winks by Donnie, you can find us on Facebook and on Instagram at Winks by Donnie. That's THANIE. Winks by Donnie. You can find us on 24/7 at winksbydonniellc.com, and then Winks by Donnie at gmail.com if you have any inquiries and if you don't have those social media platforms to access it.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate it, and we're going to continue to support each other. We want to support in this community. Where are you from originally?
Originally, I am from Panama City, Panama, but I grew up in the good old small town of Sumter, South Carolina, so I call that home. So
okay.
I'm a military kid, so, I have a little bit of roots. all over the world.
All right, well, I thank you and I appreciate it. This is Tony the Mayor from Juneteenth at the Lake in Milford, Kansas. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Experience Strength and Hope. Come back and continue to listen on any of our other platforms such as YouTube, Spotify, Anchor.fm, and Apple Podcasts. We encourage you to not only listen, but also reach out and share your stories of experience, strength, and hope at bigdog0862@gmail.com or 785-307-4662. I'm Anthony Timms, and this has been another podcast of Experience Strength and Hope from Tony the Mayor Timms. Be blessed, be strong, and most of all, be real.